are sitting in the blessed place which is the house of Allah, and with it a blessed place of burial of a great wali of his time, Sayyidina Al-Salaam ibn Mashish rahimahullah. The house of Allah has the great honor, the Kaaba has the great honor, but a wali, a righteous person of Allah, the friend of Allah, in the sight of Allah has more honor than actually even the Kaaba Sharif. A wali is a great thing, but even a Muslim, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam once said in his blessed khutbah that, "O Kaaba, you are blessed and you are honorable. But a member of my ummah's honor and status and honor in the sight of Allah is more than him." Then what to say about this Salihin and righteous and awliya? Especially this person, Sayyidina Al-Salaam ibn Mashish, rahimahullah. With one link, he is related to Sayyidina Abdul Qadir al-Jilani, rahimahullah, as well. And by himself, he was the qutb of his time. And his life shows that if a person is sincere and have ikhlas, and like he separated from the world outwardly, otherwise his family was living here, he was also heading an organization of Islamic revival at the same time. But he separated in the early years actually above this mountain, even higher than where we are now. And alone he spent time in the worship of Allah Azza wa Jal. But when Allah Azza wa Jal wills that a person should have more honor, or a person should be famous, then Allah Azza wa Jal is not in need of the asbab or the media, newspapers and TVs and posters and things. As you have seen, this place is such that now it is difficult to come. So this shows that those people who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the reason of fame and name, or to get any status in the sight of creation, they have actually been mistaken and they are deluded. And they are not going to be honorable in this world and the hereafter. But when a person is involved in any work of deen, he should be more careful, because now the work will be spreading in the people and more people will be knowing about it. So the more ikhlas is actually required. So this is one of the lessons, that no matter how much you hide, when Allah Azza wa Jalla wants to give you honor and fame, He will give. And no matter how much you seek honor through the means and through self-projection and self-image, if Allah Azza wa Jalla does not have this will for you, it's never going to happen. But you will be disgraced, as we have found in the lifetime of Pharaoh and Abu Jahl and other people who come after that, until the day of judgment. They will have powers, but no glory and no honor for them. But I am only telling you to one point, that maybe I have a little bit of money, I have written a little bit, I have cassettes, I have video, or I have a media company, or I have a certain other status, or religiously or socially, and I am on the trip of ego, trip to project ego. It is better that the person stops there and realizes his own limitation. Because far more superior people who had more powers, and they will have more powers like the Dajjal, are not going to gain. Honor is a treasure which Allah owns. No one can get one atom's weight honor without the permission of Allah. Similarly, when he wants to disgrace someone, एक तो ये इनकी जिंदगी सबक मिलता है, जितना मर्जी छुप जाए, जो मर्जी करें, लेकिन अल्लाह जब चाहेगा तो देखें अब हम कहां से कहां आए हैं, from where we have come to be here, and all through the years will come, and he has passed almost 800 years ago. 800 साल हो गए, 900 साल हो गए उनको. And other lesson which we can learn from his life is that Sayyidina Abu Hassan al-Shazali, rahimahullah, he was a pious man, a learned man, a scholarly person who used to reside in Egypt, in Misr. He worked about his way to about 3 stages and higher even actually by himself. The stages which you cover in Tareeqah Muhammadiyah, he himself had covered from the Mashiach and himself, but he wants more higher, the real exposure and marifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But no one could satisfy him in all of the Egypt. He was a scholar, he also was a righteous man. So wherever he goes, people will tell him that you do this, but he wanted someone in the spiritual world to take him somewhere. He wanted that type of opening. He could not. But then he was guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through a saint that there is a person, imagine how far is Egypt and how far is this place. There is a person living in that mountain who can actually guide you and who can take you. So he came from all the way actually here. Although Shaykh al-Salaam ibn Mashish was living here, he was there, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought them together. This means that if you have true want to find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's closeness and his pleasure and his messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you have to do effort, the rest matter lies with Allah. He will do what is within his power. You do what role you have to play. Meaning searching, putting effort, leaving your family, leaving sometimes the money, and also face the hardship of the traveling. It's not that now something is like this happening to you, that without you putting any effort, you're expecting this. This is not a good expectation. It is called niyyah, having just a wishful thinking. You won't find Hazrat Khidr knocking on your door any day and say, I am Khidr and I have come to actually give you some closeness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you have to actually take effort. We want not to put any effort. But second lesson from Shaykh al-Salaam ibn Mashish, rahimahullah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will actually bring you together with this person if you really are in search of someone. But if you are not in search, to Sayyidina Abdul Qadir Jilani rahimahullah searched and came to Baghdad all the way from Iran. Shaykh Abul Hasan al-Shadili searched for years. Hazrat Abdul Aziz the Bab rahimahullah searched for 12 years. And me and you are just going to get out of nothing? No. So, but when he came here, you know the story I do tell many times. Last time I also mentioned to you. There are some new brothers as well. You can tell them as well. But he came, as he was traveling upwards, he found himself fearing from animals. There were animals of jungle, as you have seen during that time. Sometimes the animals will gather around him. And he faced many different kinds of dangers up to the point he came here. He also met a woman on the way who was also worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this jungle. But that's a different story and which will take much time. But when he came here, as you know, he spent some time with Shaykh Al-Salaam ibn Mashish, rahimahullah. And his high ranking and his qutubiyya and his walayat and his closeness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Shaykh Abul Hasan al-Shazili in days and weeks actually progressed towards his journey. I won't mention the things which Shaykh Abu Hassan Ali Shazali rahimahullah learned from Shaykh al-Salaam ibn Mashish. But when he came, he never used to come down from the mountain. One of the stories which I mentioned very often, it is still beneficial for us. That Shaykh Abu Hassan Ali Shazali, when he came to meet Shaykh al-Salaam ibn Mashish, said that leave what you have down there where you have come from. You see that mountain, how much down it is, how much distance he had to cover. So Shaykh Abu Hassan Ali Shazali and Mullah said, this is idea that if we cannot have our own idea of tazkiyah, our own idea which we have read and which we have learned from books and heard from other people. If you want tazkiyah your way, your tazkiyah is not going to happen. The purification is not going to happen. So Shaykh Abu Hassan Ali Shazali was a scholar, was a wali, a righteous man. But what is it that when he comes, that Shaykh al-Salaam ibn Mashish rahimahullah says that go down and leave what you have. Now this was against the thoughts of Shaykh Abu Hassan Ali Shazali. So it gives a lesson that don't come up with your own idea of tazkiyah. I want tazkiyah, but I want it like this. I want to be purified, I want to like this. I don't like this. If you know what you want and how you want, then why you are here? Go and achieve it. Go and take it. So same thing happened that Hazrat Abu Ali Hassan Shazali was thinking something else. Shaykh al-Salaam said go down. So when he came up again, he left his luggage there. Shaykh Abu Hassan Ali Shazali went up. And Shaykh al-Salaam said again, go down back again and leave what you have. He again did not object. Why you are saying this, what is to do with this? I have come to learn the path to Allah, or actually leaving my luggage down there. Because in this path actually, these questions have become sometimes an obstacle. So he again went, again did wuzu, and again came up. And then third time Shaykh Abu Salaam ibn Mashish rahimahullah said again, go down. 3 times he went. And when 4th time he came, he again said, go down and leave. Now apart from the very minimal clothes of covering the satar, he did not have anything with him. Shaykh Abu Salaam said, go again. Shaykh Abu Hassan Ali Shazali rahimahullah said, he fell in the feet of Shaykh Abdul Salam bin Mashish and where he said, I do not know what you mean. Please, I don't want to disobey you. I don't want to go down here. I have come all the way from Egypt. But it only matter is, I am not understanding what you are saying. I want to leave. But I have left everything. Shaykh Abdul Salam bin Mashish then said to him finally, that what I meant was to leave what is here and what is here. Up to now, what knowledge and ilm you have learned and what spirituality you have learned, leave all that actually down. And only then actually you come to me. And you're going to bed. Because a cup which is filled, how can I put something more in there? And a tablet or lawh or takhti which is written, how can I write something on? The second lesson a person gets from the Shaykh Abdul Salam bin Mashish rahimahullah teaching, that a person either look, there's an apple in the market. You want apple, you know how to get it, go and get the apple and eat. Simple as that. But if you can't get the apple, then you go to a person, tell me how to get that apple, and he says, you have to go and find a tree, for example, and you say, no, I don't want to find a tree, I want an apple. You just tell me where it is, I just want to get it. So that person is going to say that if you know how to get that, actually go and get it. Why you are here? You are here because of your own knowledge and wisdom, you cannot get that apple of marifah and apple of the closeness of Allah. That's why you are here. So now actually, you follow me, not actually yourself. So ये होता है all the time a person should in this path, because a person cannot see what's happening in the spiritual world, what's happening, what shaitan is doing, what the nafs is thinking, and then the evils of the nafs. So it is wise actually to follow if a person thinks he is not purified. If he can be purified himself, then he should do it himself. He doesn't need to go anywhere. But his own inner self will tell him he has not. Like his own inner self of Imam Ghazali, Rahimahullah, told him that you've not got that closeness of Allah, which you read in books, which you hear about awliya salihin. These things you do not have. Knowledge you have, wisdom you have. You are on the seat of knowledge, but you don't have that. So he had to leave everything. Like Shaykh al-Salaam ibn Mashish said to Imam Abu Hassan al-Shazili, you leave down there. Imam Ghazali left everything while he was there. In his home, his knowledge, his seat of knowledge, his teaching, etc. Everything. And really a person cannot know the status of Qutb unless he himself is Qutb. He cannot appreciate what is Qutbiyah. I tell you, this is the status. So one can never know, if a person himself is not Qutb, he can never really know what is the status of Qutb. If a person himself is not Ghaus, he can never know him. So that's why it is impossible to know a prophet's status, especially Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Unless a person himself is a prophet, he can never know actually that what is a prophet, what is the status, and what is the ranking of the prophet, especially about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this applies to the Aqtab as well. So really we cannot, they have a certain kind of closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which is unimaginable, which we cannot think. If we even speak about it, it won't be understandable. But I can little bit give you a glance of it. So that's one thing Shaykh Abu Hassan al-Shazili rahmatullah was said. And then he gave. He poured what he has. And pouring does not mean in 1 day or 2 days going to happen. It happens with mujahidah. After that, because when he wanted to leave him and he gave him ijazah to go, Shaykh asSalaam ibn Mashish rahimahullah first time came down from the mountain. He had never come down from the mountain. He wouldn't actually come down from the mountain. He would always stay. You will see his chillagah, or his place of worship and his place of prayers. Up more higher than his grave. Inshallah, last time maybe you did not go, few people went, but this time you should actually witness that where he spent his time. Shaykh al-Salaam ibn Mashish first time, after a long time, came down actually to see off Shaykh Abu Hassan al-Shazili finally. So when he came down, Shaykh Abu Hassan al-Shazili is with him, Shaykh al-Salaam ibn Mashish, his Shaykh is with him, no one is there. He comes down to see him off down the mountain so that say farewell, Islam करने के लिए और अलविदा करने के लिए. क्योंकि ये मशाइख जिसको कहते हैं सुन्नत है, भाई दरवाजे तक जाना वो सुन्नत है, मेहमान को छोड़ना. और आपका तो दरवाजा इधर था ही नहीं, आप तो चिल्लागाह में थे, तो आप फिर अपने दरवाजे जो पहाड़ के पीछे वहां तक छोड़ने के लिए. He went there. But when he was going down, Shaykh Abu Hassan al-Shazili showed us strange matter. उन्होंने एक अजीबो गरीब मंजर देखा कि सफेद परिंदे, white birds, something like white birds made of light, they actually came from the heavens and they used to circle. They began to circle Shaykh asSalaam ibn Mashish. And they stood up very silently. They circled, they stood up in lines and lines and lines. And circling him with lines. At that time, Shaykh asSalaam ibn Mashish rahimahullah pointed to Shaykh Abu Hassan al-Shazili that you go on one side. Aap ek taraf ho jaye. And he went to the one side, and then for a short while he was speaking to these birds of light. He was speaking to them for a while, and then they flew away and disappeared from the eyes. Now because Shaykh Abu Hassan al-Shazili was also a person of fath, a person of so he could see as well. Now, when he called him back, before leaving, he asked his teacher, "Oh teacher, Ya Sayyidi asSalaam ibn Mashish, I'm leaving you, but I will be wondering what are these birds which came and went away. Who were these birds?" Shaykh asSalaam ibn Mashish said, "You have nothing to do with them, but because you are leaving now, and last time you are seeing me, and maybe you won't see me in this life again, I will tell you, because I don't normally pay attention to other creation, only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I even seek refuge," but he said, "the sukoon and itminan a person gets from ibadat and worship." He said, "I even don't want that, because that is other than Allah." Because he said, you see in his Salatul Mashishiyah, he said, وَحُلْ بَيْنِ وَبَيْنَ غَيْرِ, कि मेरे दरमियान अल्लाह पाक आपके गैर के दरमियान जो भी है, आपके दरमियान जो भी है, उसके दरमियान हाइल हो रही है. He doesn't want anything. He doesn't want the peace, the serenity which a person even gets from worship. He said, I also take that, because that also makes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgetful. So he was this type of person. How could he pay attention to angels when he is not even paying attention to the worship of Allah, as the pleasure of the worship of Allah, which we complain with namaz mein maza nahi aa raha, zikr mein maza nahi aa raha, ये नहीं हो रहा. वो तो बहुत अच्छा हो रहा है कि आपको इखलास दिया जा रहा है. You are being given sincerity, or training for sincerity. If you are Abdul Maza and Abdul Kafir, you have come for that, then obviously you have come for the wrong reason. To Allah Azza wa Jalla. Allah Pak. But he said, now because I have come with you, Shaykh asSalaam ibn Mashish said, now the angels are requesting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 7 heavens angels, 7 angels of 7 heavens, they have had Hamidin Ash. They have requested to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we want to go and see the Wali Shaykh asSalaam ibn Mashish and ask about the marifat of Allah, of yours. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed the angels of 4th heaven, Allah पर चौथे आसमान के फरिश्तों को इजाजत दी कि तुम जाओ, you go and actually do the ziyarah and ask whatever you want. So that's Shaykh Abu Hasan al-Shazili was mentioned, and he said that my Shaykh said that these were the angels of 4th heaven. ये चौथे आसमान के मलाइका जिनको आपने देखे, उसे मौका मिल गया, they just found this opportunity कि हम सीख ले इनसे कुछ अल्लाह के बारे में और. So they came and they asked questions and they learned more of the marifat of Allah and they went. So from this you can imagine the status of Shaykh asSalaam ibn Mashish, that the angels of heaven come to ask questions about who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Such a person he was known there in the heavens. So it's all people say, but I just said this few things because so at least you know who you are visiting, who that person is, and what status he holds. But now, as you know, the people are not following his path. Even these people have mostly left. So you can, if he can be on this mountain and become Wali of Allah, you can be sitting in England and an island, you can also become Wali of Allah. That's an island. If you follow the way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This was known once as Maghrib, as West. Now that is known as West. So you are not restricted. If you follow the Allah is same, there is no change to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People have changed, have gone on, some have died, some are living, but Allah is same. And He will give His closeness to whomsoever He wills and to whomsoever actually will do effort for it.